You think you can just move in here with your fancy cars and your loud music and own the place? This is a decent neighborhood, not the ghetto. I should have known you people would bring nothing but trouble. Man, you're not going to believe the night we had. My wife and I, we were just trying to have a nice evening. Just a simple anniversary dinner. Nothing extravagant. But you know, something to mark another year together. Her in that emerald green dress that made her look like a dream. Me in the only suit I own that fits right. Both of us feeling a little lighter than usual because, for once, life wasn't about kids or work or bills. We'd managed to wrangle a sitter and the house was quiet. Too quiet, honestly, but I wasn't complaining. We were just about to head out. Uber 2 minutes away, my wife checking her hair in the hallway mirror while I held her coat. Both of us smiling. That kind of deep-down contentment you don't get too often once you're past 30. And then, rattling at the front door. Not a knock, not even a call out. Just a jiggling doorknob. For a second, I wondered if I'd forgotten to lock it, but no, I knew I had. The rattling got harder, like whoever was out there had decided politeness was overrated. I peered through the peephole, heart thumping. And who do I see but our neighbor? Yeah, the one with the floral sundress and resting frown, who always seemed a little too invested in our business, looking for all the world like she belonged on a warning poster. I cracked the door, barely an inch. "Can I help you?" I asked, trying to keep it polite. She looked me up and down like I'd just served her raw chicken at a cookout. "Well, it's about time," she snapped. "I've been trying to get in. Your door is locked." The nerve, like locking my own door, was a personal affront. My wife joined me, her hand on my back, offering up that tight smile reserved for the worst clients. "Is everything all right?" she asked, silky smooth but all business. That's when the neighbor went off the rails. About us bringing down the neighborhood, you people, and trouble, and her voice carrying down the street. I stood there, dumbfounded, suit and tie and all, while she unloaded this pile of venom and entitlement, her face turning a blotchy red, practically spitting about us locking our door like it was some crime. You ever have that moment where you realize you've just scratched the surface of something rotten? That was it. Suddenly, all the little flags from the past year and a half, her helpful favors, the weird questions about our stuff, the mail and the trash cans, the way she always seemed to know when we'd gotten a new lamp, started looking a whole lot less like neighborly quirks and a lot more like red warnings. She wasn't just annoyed. She was furious. It was a level of rage that made zero sense. Why did she care so much about our door being locked? Why did she act like our house was half hers? All I could do was stand there, mind spinning, as our Uber pulled up and the scene became a circus. My wife in full lawyer mode, telling her, cold as ice, "You need to leave our property." The neighbor scoffed, that nasty wet sound people make when they think they're bulletproof. "Your property? I've lived here 40 years, she shot back. "I have more right than you do." Then she said something about borrowing sugar, but her real point was clear. She expected to come and go as she pleased, and a locked door was some kind of betrayal. I tried to defuse it. "We don't have any sugar tonight, and we're on our way out." She got right in my face, muttering about gangbangers. And let's be clear, our guests are family, friends, and maybe an accountant or two. Nobody who would fit that fantasy script she was spinning. That's when my wife pulled out her phone, threatening to call the cops if she didn't leave, which only made things crazier, because our neighbor beat her to it, dialing 911 and spinning a wild tale for the dispatcher about being threatened by us. I just stood there filming her, my wife a statue beside me, as this woman who'd tried to break into our home started sobbing about how she was cornered and scared for her life. You know, flipping reality on its head. Our Uber peeled away. Anniversary dinner, officially dead. The sitter pulled up, poor thing, eyes wide, and I waved her off, not wanting to drag a teenager into this. Then the flashing red and blue lights showed up, 2 squad cars, for officers, the whole block watching through their blinds. And suddenly, I'm standing in my best suit, my wife in that beautiful dress, being questioned by a cop with his hand on his holster while the neighbor, in full performance mode, played the damsel in distress. I could see how the story looked, how fast things could spiral, how quickly our reputation, our sense of home, could slip away. But my wife wasn't about to let us go down like that. She explained everything, calm, clear, no emotion, just the facts. When they asked why she thought the door would be unlocked, I showed them the video on my phone, her screaming, us asking her to leave, her ignoring us, and then the 911 drama. That shifted the room. You could see the realization hit the officers, especially the younger one who'd been giving us side-eye. The older cop finally sighed, said it was all he said, she said, and told us to keep our distance, lock our doors, and avoid contact. That was it. No charges, no real consequence. The neighbor glared at us, pure hatred in her eyes, and stormed off. We were left on the porch, shaken, the cold seeping into our skin, our anniversary in ruins. We paid the sitter, didn't say much. Later, sitting on the bed, my wife in sweats, me staring at the wall, we started piecing things together. Every weird little thing over the past year, every time something small had gone missing, every odd comment from the neighbor about things she shouldn't have known. The expensive face cream, the missing chocolates, the scarf, the $20 bill. What if she hadn't just been nosy? What if she'd been inside our house when we weren't home? What if locking that door had cut her off from her own private playground? The realization was sickening. We decided to fight back, not with more yelling, but with proof. We set up security cameras, every angle covered, inside and out. We baited a box with a marked $20 bill, put it where she'd find it, watched her take it inside, and waited. Sure enough, she returned the box, minus the cash. My wife, sharp as ever, got the owner of the local grocery store to agree to watch for our marked bill. 3 days later, we got the call. The neighbor had spent it there. We called the police, this time with a mountain of evidence. Video, the empty box, the serial numbered bill, the store owner's testimony. The same officers showed up, and this time, they took us seriously. They confronted her, and for the first time, the mask slipped. They arrested her right there on her porch. Turns out, we weren't her only victims. The police found a stash of stolen items in her house. Our things, our neighbors' things, even stuff from families who'd moved away. She'd been stealing, harassing, and lying for years, using her sweet old lady act as a perfect cover. She tried to play the victim, tried to claim diminished capacity, but the evidence was overwhelming. The trial wasn't dramatic. A bench trial, a judge who saw right through the act. Guilty on all counts. She got probation, had to pay restitution, and was hit with a permanent restraining order. Her son moved her out to an assisted living place. The house sold, and for the first time since we'd moved in, the block felt peaceful. At our victory barbecue, the neighbor whose iPod was found brought champagne. To the giant slayers, he toasted. We all laughed, but there was a new caution, too. We learned that the only way to stop someone like her is to be more patient, more relentless, and a hell of a lot smarter. We learned that justice doesn't just happen, you have to make it. Sometimes I sit on the porch and look next door at the new family, kids playing in the yard, and I wonder if they'll ever know just how close they came to inheriting our nightmare. You do everything right, try to be a good neighbor, and someone decides to hate you anyway. Sometimes the only way to win is to stand together, fight smarter, and never, ever back down. So what do you think? Should we have taken the easy way out? Is justice really served when the damage is already done? Let me know your take. Share your stories. Have you ever had a neighbor cross the line? Or did your community come together in the end? Drop a comment below. Tell me where you stand on this. Right and wrong in a neighborhood. It's messier than anyone wants to admit.